Welcome! I'm Halcyon, this is Hug Nation, and today's topic is freedom. In 2008, the Burning Man theme was American Dream. And when I first heard that, I was pissed. Because Burning Man is a place where there's so much possibility. There's so much untethered thought, exploration, inspiration. And to me, the political system has always been the opposite of that. And so to have the institution, the organization of Burning Man, invite politics, invite the grotesque distortions of our political system onto the playa, into Black Rock City, just felt gross to me. And I kind of expected all sorts of, activism, political statements there. Not that there isn't anything wrong with being an activist, and I think it's good to find a cause and dedicate energy to it. But in the same way that Burning Man is a place free from default labels and brands and commerce, it also is a place that is a respite from everything, causes even. And one of the reasons that I believe that is because I think that when we walk our day-to-day paths, we are in our stories, and we do the best we can from within that story, within our perspective. But at the end of the day, our minds, our personal human experiences don't know what's best for ourselves, for the world, for the environment, for lost causes. We do the best we can, but we need to do it with an element of humility. And that's why I think it's important to have these vacations from the normal so that you can allow maybe even a deeper, more profound wisdom and truth to channel through and say, oh gosh, maybe I need to be of service to a different type of solution than I was thinking my way through. Maybe there is a more love-based or a more in-the-flow way to combat what I believe to be wrong in the world. Or maybe what I think is wrong in the world is actually just askew in a different way. So, got to the playa and I was actually incredibly pleased. People seem to embrace the American dream concept from a founding father's idea, from a freedom idea. And it was an incredibly recalibrating year for me to have pride in the United States. Because it's so easy to get caught up in what's wrong, what's corrupt. And you would be right to spend all day, every day, railing against what is wrong. But I think there's also times to celebrate what's right. And there was this one moment that I remember about Burning Man that really kind of anchors all this for me. The sun was starting to set, and there was this group of 5 or 6 people in their mid-50s on top of their RV, hula hooping naked. And they had not a care in the world, just jangle, 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 flap, 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 flippity, flap, flap. And then as the sun started to go behind the mountains, they stopped and started singing at the top of their lungs the national anthem. And I'm watching this scene and I'm giggling and I see them do the national anthem and I'm giggling. And the more I thought about it, I was like, yeah, this is exactly why I love America. Because these people, no matter how outside the norm they are, they feel free to express themselves in this crazy way, and they're protected to do so. Is this the only place that they're allowed to do that? Are we better than other countries? That's a whole different conversation. I'm simply talking about what's wonderful about America. So, I hope you are currently hula hooping naked, and if not, give it a try. On a side note, I think we should have field trips to nude beaches for children. We don't have enough exposure to naked bodies outside of what we see on, airbrushed magazines. And I think that's a huge contributor to the body image challenges that people have, because nobody looks like people in magazines. Even people in magazines don't look like people in magazines. But if you go to a nude beach, you're like, holy moly, there is a lot of variety and weirdness and crazy angles and sagging that is part of a human being's body. So instead of everybody in the garden hating themselves because they're not the perfect rose, we can start to realize, oh, every flower in this garden is gorgeous. Even the ones with some wilting, even the ones that got chewed by a dog, even the ones that are past their prime. And that's another thing that I think Burning Man demonstrates. And it gives permission to everyone to step into the role of performer, of superstar, of leader. And I think that duocracy, that philosophy of if you want to see something different in the world, do it. That is the foundation of Black Rock City. And I think that is the foundation of our country. That is the American dream. That is the vibe of freedom that this country was founded on. And bringing duocracy, bringing a personal responsibility, bringing the obligation, the responsibility, the passion to change the world in the direction that you think it should be changed, as opposed to complaining about the way that it should be, that's a massive shift. So on the 4th of July, I take a pause from politics. I take a break from debate and remember to be a participant in this country and the world, to join the duocracy. If I see something on the ground that shouldn't be, pick it up. If I see a place where a song should be singing, let it out. If I see a person who needs a hug, I need to give it. And I hope that we all can do the same. Welcome everyone who is live in the chat room. Happy 4th of July if you're in the United States. Actually, happy 4th of July no matter where you are, but it's probably more significant in the United States. This time in history is probably the most explosive, argumentative, discordant time for political discourse ever. We are in a time when we have the birth and the explosion and the rapid puberty of the internet that allows crazy access to information, no matter how anchored it is in fact and how much it is the product of imagination. And we as humans believe what we want to believe. We find evidence for what we already believe to be true. And the internet creates these echo chambers of affirmation that lets people dig in and fight from a place of certainty like never before. But it allows people on both sides to be certain. And so, I have to take a step back quite frequently and go, wow, we live in interesting times, which I'm told the Chinese phrase, may you live in interesting times, was actually a curse, not a toast. And I think we're understanding why. There is some real challenges to life being interesting. But let's try to embrace the beauty of it. Let's try to embrace the duocracy and have tolerance for those who think different. I have to take a step back quite frequently and go, wow, we live in interesting times.